Welcome to the Power of Love show sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation, where we shine a light on loss and grief and how it impacts our lives. We are here to provide hope, resources, and a community so no one feels alone in their grief. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Power of Love show sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation. My name is T.J. Jackson, and with me is my eldest brother, Taj Jackson. We are here at the D.D. Jackson Foundation, and we are excited because we have a special show for you guys lined up. Of course, we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. You may also be listening to us on a podcast. So if you are listening on a podcast, we thank you guys for listening. We hope you have subscribed to that podcast, and we ask you to leave a review so that others who may need this content can search it and find it. With that said, we are not licensed therapists. We are just ordinary people who have experienced loss in our lives. We've been impacted by it, and we have learned from it. Saying that, we like to share our opinions in an attempt to help you get through whatever it is you are going through. If you need professional help, though, we urge you to seek it and to find it. Please, please, please do not just rely on us. Taj Jackson, that is our intro. I feel like I haven't seen you in this background, this cool. I'm loving what I'm seeing, Taj. Tell us where you are.
I'm in a man cave right now. I'm in the garage of our new place. It still has work to be done, but this is as fast as we could get it going so far. So.
Well, Taj, I have to say it looks fantastic. It looks very cozy. I can't wait to be there. Well, for you, Taj, what's freezing is not what for me. I'd probably feel amazingly good because Taj loves.
Yeah, you got that fireplace going in the background.
I'm cold. I like it cold.
Christmassy. I like that.
Well, that's a Franny Francis doing that. I don't have much credit to that. But anyways, Taj, how have you been? How was your week?
Good. I just, unpacking boxes and moving things around.
It's tough.
It's tough. I'm excited about the fresh start and stuff like that. The new year is going to be incredible in terms of got a lot of things planned.
Yeah.
So,
Taj, did you have to throw a lot of stuff out?
I threw a lot of stuff out. I had some friends helping, but they gave a lot to Goodwill as well and stuff like that. So it was good. I mean, I'm a pack rat. Yeah, pack rat.
Yeah.
And I'm also very nostalgic. So I'm holding on to like t-shirts that are 30 years old and all that stuff. It's like, oh, I wore that t-shirt for a photo shoot or this or that. So most of that stuff still survived. But then there's other things that like had holes in it. I was like, okay, I got to let this go.
Yeah, it's moving is no fun. Moving is no fun.
Mm-hmm.
So Taj, anyways, I before we have a great show lined up, but before we get our guests, I think it's definitely in order, especially for us as the D.D. Jackson Foundation, to show some light and to send some love and warmth to everyone affected by the Kentucky tornado.
Yes.
I believe it also hit Illinois and affected Illinois, but there is tens and tens. I think we are just crossing 100 fatalities and many more who are unaccounted for. So many families, so many lives affected by this tragedy. And we just want to send our love, warmth, and, just well wishes to everyone affected directly by the tornado.
Great point.
Taj, anything else you want to add to that, or was that message encompassing enough?
No, that was great. No, exactly.
Okay. I just, sometimes we do shows where we talk about current events, and sometimes we just have a great show lined up. We just, get into the show, but this is too big and too close to home, and in a weird way, I feel is not being talked about enough, at least in the social media world. With the amount of devastation and tragedy that's hit it, so all right. So Taj, if I have the green light, by the way, another thing I want to mention is this new format. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, we are trying out a different format, and I'd love to know if you guys are liking this more, if you like it where it's more vertical, where it's more just faces, or do you like the extra room and space? So let us know, and then maybe we will take that I mean, Gina already says nice background, really cool, but she's talking about the backgrounds of the house. But let us know what you guys think so that we know how to progress. Again, this just isn't for us. We want our community to enjoy the experience as well. Okay, so Taj, we have a really cool show lined up. On today's episode of the Power of Love show, we welcome sisters Gianni-Amber North and Melanna Gray. Gianna and Melanna began. Thank you, Taj. Gianni and Melanna began
right the first time. Yeah.
INDIEFEMME in 2017 with the mission of creating our own opportunities in the entertainment industry. Although the industry is expanding, the women of color filmmakers are making promising strides. Films directed by and starring women, people of color, and other marginalized voices are still rare. INDIEFEMME's mission is to help fill that void with content that reflects the diverse world we live in. Writer, director, producer Gianni-Amber North is a graduate of the University of Redlands. She has written and directed several short films that have screened at the FESPACO, Urban Media Makers, BEHERC, which stands for Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center, and Holly Shorts Film Festivals. She has worked for Edmonds Entertainment, Wire Image, Getty Images, Duke Media, Awesomeness TV, and Tastemade Media. Writer, actor, producer Melanna Gray is a graduate of USC and UMKC. She has performed in theatrical productions all over the country, including the Humana Festival, Kennedy Center, and Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. She originated the acclaimed play Omnium Gatherum with Amir Arison, The Blacklist, who's from The Blacklist. She also starred in Engagement with Amir, Aaron D. Spears, which is Being Mary, Jane, and The Bold and the Beautiful, if any of you guys have seen that. A short film that the sisters co-wrote and Gianni directed. So I love this. This is like a cool powerhouse little team. While the women have experienced their fair share of successes, it has been built on learning from a lot of failure and hearing a lot of no's. So they've dealt with the sting of hearing no and empty promises. Their love for each other and the art they want to create has continued to propel them forward. Melanna and Gianni are currently in the creative trenches, writing an Afro-futuristic screenplay inspired by the life of Zora Neale Hurston. Without much further ado, yes, I always throw that much in, even though it may be wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Power of Love show, sisters Gianni-Amber North and Melanna Gray. Hello, ladies.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
First of all, before we get into the questions, we are doing fine. So thank you for asking. How was that intro? Did I butcher any words? Did I butcher anything?
You did great.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm known for butchering intros and messing that up. So I'm happy to hear I did okay on that. Okay, so before we delve into all things INDIEFEMME, tell us a little bit about your origin story. You are sisters who work together creatively. There you go. And we can understand that dynamic as brothers, of course, Taj and I, who work together creatively as well. Is family very important to who you are, and how has your family shaped your path?
Well, family is really everything. I mean, I don't really think I could take this journey with anybody else but her. It's really the foundation of our company. But we grew up in a single parent household. Our mother would always take us to the museum. We're originally from Kansas City, so Nelson Atkins Art Museum is definitely where our mom would take us. Excuse me. We would go to the library and, all kinds of different creative places. So, our mother was always really trying to get our creative juices flowing, and that certainly became the foundation of how we started to create.
Nice. Now, was wanting to be in film, was it always film, or was it ever music or a different route? Was film always the answer for both of you?
Well, we're actually athletes first.
Ooh.
So for myself, I ran track, and I did really well in high school. And you have the two letters, and there's the creative letter. And so I was kind of boasting, like I wanted the creative letter. So I got into forensics and debate, and that's essentially almost one woman show in a way, in a competition. And it just so happened to be around the time that Whoopi did that Broadway show. So so it was over for me. So I did really well. I got a scholarship to USC, and I majored in theater, and went to grad school at UMKC. And my sister was always a writer and a bookworm, so kind of melded that she would start directing and writing, and we would eventually join forces.
That's great. What was the inspiration for launching INDIEFEMME? What is your mission?
Well, I mean, the inspiration was really a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
A lot of, no's. And we would go and we would pitch, and, we would hear, okay, well, we like the project, but, we want to replace it with, a white actress, or, center it, really around voices that were not our own. And we really wanted to just continue the beautiful conversation that's happening right now with more people of color, really in front of the camera, more stories centered around marginalized groups. And we just learned pretty early on that in order to do that, we had to get behind the camera. And our goal is really to just continue to increase the amount of people behind the camera, and just teach young kids that it's the power is behind the camera. And that's how we create more art.
For me, I was doing a lot of theater and kind of sick of playing slaves, quite honestly. And so I came back out here to try to get into film, and I met Bill Duke. He was teaching a workshop, and the workshop before ours, Anthony Anderson, Taraji, Shamar Moore, like a lot of people learned the business from him. So it was a great opportunity to learn that he would say, like, the days of going to audition and kind of getting discovered, that's over. You have to create your own voice and let people know who you are and what you want to play. You can, acting days are over. You have to learn how to produce, how to write, everything. So he really taught us a lot of the business, and everything that is creative is, I think, kind of comes from him a bit. He really thinks out of the box, and he taught us to do the same.
Go ahead, Taj. We can't hear you, Taj. There you go.
Sorry, I muted it because of. I do have a question. In terms of, you said that your mom took you to places, art, and all that stuff. Was your mom artistic as well, in terms of creative in that way, or was it something that she just loved the arts? But like, what was?
She's a writer, but I think, as from being a Black woman in the Midwest, she was really limited.
Yeah,
and so she really taught us to expand and try to break through some things that her generation was just unable to do.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
I have to say, Melanna, when you were talking about sick of playing slaves, I've never are auditioning for slaves, or whatever the phrase was. I don't want to say I can relate to that, because I never really pursued the theater route. But truthfully, it's a concern I've had for one of my kids who wanted to be in theater. And when there's, the high school show is, Cinderella, and they're at a school where they're of the minority, there's a good chance they won't be picked for the part, which can mess with their confidence, which can lead to a whole nother series of challenges in their lives going forward. So my first question is, how did you, and Gianni, if you want to elaborate on this from a personal experience as well, how did you, Melanna, how did you get through that period stronger and still stay, my story is not done. Okay, I see what, if I go the traditional route, it may be challenging because you just want me to play this or that role, but I'm going to do something on my own and kind of create my future. How did you get the strength to do that, or to take that route?
together. Really, there's no way I would still be doing this if we weren't a team. No way at all. So I think you really need a strong support system. And then you have to know, we go to school and we get this education and we're classically trained and all that, and you come out and they're, here play Aunt Jemima, over and over and over again. There's not really a lot of opportunities to do otherwise, which is how we found Zora Neale Hurston. So I didn't know a lot about Zora. She is most known for the book Their Eyes Were Watching God. So I got this show early on in my career, probably back in 2000. And I just fascinated with her, and I've been studying her ever since. And this project that we started working on just became this love letter to her and all of the people around her, which would be the Harlem Renaissance folks like Langston Hughes and Dr. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington and so on. So we wanted to find a way of, when you're creating and it takes this long, you have to do something that you love. And so you want to give to the future generation. And the only way we can really do that is try to make our past more interesting. So we've done a lot of research and we've developed a way to bring our ancestors into an Afrofuturistic environment. So
yeah, and I want to know more about that. But I first, because a lot of communities, a lot of it in our community, and just a lot of people I've been around, they have all these dreams and aspirations, but there's a lot of fear, or the sting of rejection sits longer with them, so they don't want to continue pursuing, or maybe they psych themselves out. So first, I want to know what's been the biggest challenges you guys have had to face since launching INDIEFEMME, and how have you faced these challenges? How did you get through them?
Well, I mean, the biggest challenge is always financial. Anytime you tell somebody, that you're an artist and, you're a nonprofit, it's like, oh, that's so adorable.
I've never heard it said that way, but I like that. It is true. That's so adorable.
I mean, because I think that everybody knows, it's going to be hard, but anything that you're going to do that's going to be worthwhile is going to be hard. There is no sort of easy path or comfort zone. So, I mean, you might as well do the thing that you love. And that's, I mean, the thing, our love for each other, our commitment to this dream is really what gets us out of bed in the morning, and I mean, we just have to keep pushing. I mean, there's no other, there's not a
alternative.
There's not a we're going to go back or we're going to give up. I mean, we're, couple decades into this by now.
Yeah.
So, at this point, it's just like, well, we riding this thing out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Taj.
No, I always love when there's no plan B. Like, I think that's like one of the strongest things, because it's an act of commitment that you're in it. And I commend you guys. I think this is super, needed, and just in our industry in general. And I'm part of that industry. I'm a director and writer as well. And I just commend you guys for doing this in general and being so strong and working at it, because it's a void that needs to be filled in a way, in terms of just our voices in general, and the narrative needs to be changed. So, that's all I wanted to say in that way. But I know TJ has more questions.
Yeah, I have several questions. Our community is a lost community. And the Power of Love show is generally about recovering from loss. All types of loss, from severe losses to smaller losses. My question to you is, when you guys, whether it was rejection or a promise fell through, or, because I know that's hit you guys many times. It hits everyone, but I'm sure it's even hit you more. What is your go-to strategy after some bad news or rejection? Do you guys give yourself a day to sulk? Do you guys don't even give yourself a minute? What is your mentality? Do you guys say it wasn't meant to be? I'd love to know what is your mentality to help keep you propelled to go forward and to build what you're building.
Gratitude. And there's so much. We've taken a lot of hits, but we've also had a lot of help. And there's a lot of love in our life, and we have a big family. So there's always something to kind of lean back on. And if we don't do it, somebody else will remind us.
Yeah.
To be grateful for.
Right.
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 That's what's family.
I would say the other thing is just really stillness. It's just really, just getting still and listening. Because I think everything is really about spirit. And if you're constantly in motion, you can't really hear what spirit is trying to tell you. So, but definitely, I mean, there are so many opportunities that we wanted that didn't, come to fruition. And, we've looked back and been like, thank God that did not work out the way that we wanted it to, so sometimes not getting the gig or not, getting the investment or whatever actually worked in our favor. So, but that's when, you get still and you can listen and you can hear like, okay, well, something better is coming.
And you get better. You take the time to get better.
Tiffany says, that's great. I agree. Attitude determines your altitude. Good insight. Nicole says, rejection is part of the journey. I fully believe the no's are needed in order to get to that yes. And then we have a super chat from My Life, My Hurdles, and My Survival, who says, hey, just wanted to say we're grateful y'all beautiful ladies are here. Y'all doing the Lord's work. Also, can you be my aunties, please? Love all y'all. So Bommy's always bringing some joy and love to the show. I love it. Okay, so question again for IndieFemme. What has been your most rewarding experience since launching IndieFemme?
I would say probably actually the launch. We were able to get like a bunch of women that we absolutely adore, who've been working in the industry for years, gotten a lot of the same rejections, a lot of the same no's, just crazy stereotypes, just madness that the industry will throw at you. And we got them all in the room and did a photo shoot and did, a video shoot. And it wasn't just that, it was, really a community building exercise. And, we're 3 or 4 years into this now and women still talk about that. So we're just excited to, build on those conversations and the energy that was in the room that day.
Love it. You ladies are inspiring me to me as a writer. That's from Carrie.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so this is the Power of Love show, and we read in your bio that the love you share for one another, as well as the love for the art you create, propels you forward. Is doing things from a place of love important to you when it comes to your art? And if so, why?
What else is there? We are artists, but this is also our exercise of life, right? So at the end of all of this, we have to check off some boxes of what we have given to the world rather than taken away from it. So at the end of the day, we want our legacy to be loved. So it just so happens that the vehicle is art.
Love it.
And one of my favorite quotes that I say all the time is Quincy Jones said, art is prayer. And, you can't have prayer without spirit. You can't have spirit without love. So, love is art. And if there's no love in it, it's not art.
What change do you hope IndieFemme will make on the film industry?
Just really continuing the conversation. I mean, thankfully, when I first started, I couldn't name, 5 Black women directors on one hand. And thankfully, that has changed. And, we have the Get Outs, we have the Issa Raes, we have, so many beautiful examples of work that's being done and it's really changing the narrative. And, we're just really trying to contribute to that. Not only in front of the camera, but like we said, behind the camera. We want to show young kids, especially, hood kids, that like, you can be a grip, you can be an electrician, you can be, all these jobs that they have never even heard of a lot of times. They can fill these jobs and make a great living. It's not just about in front of the camera.
And I want to see accredited investors. I want to see that we can greenlight our own projects. We're always like, well, why isn't Black Black, or why isn't it? Make your own. Do your own. You know, we don't have to depend upon the studio to tell us what is acceptable at what time of the year or what decade. We can do it ourselves. So I want to help build wealth in our community so that we can make our own decisions.
It's so needed. It's so needed, and I'm hoping we're making progress on that front to a satisfactory level. I don't know that answer. I'm not in the, you know, when you said, Gianni, about naming Black women directors, I couldn't name any, and that is sad, you know. And I'm in the entertainment industry, not really in the film industry, but that needs to change, you know. And I'm happy that you guys are doing your part in it and making it easier for everyone else. So I appreciate that. Taj disappeared for a second. Don't know where he went. The internet may have not worked in his new man cave. But I would love to know, and I'm sure the community wants to know, is how can we see your work and how can we support your platform?
Well, we have the engagement short that you mentioned that is on YouTube, and then just like us on all the platforms, we're really working to make some new content and hoping to have some at the beginning of the year.
Great. Janine with the super chat says, "You ladies are absolutely fabulous and beautiful.
Thank you.
So happy to hear about your platform. Love that."
Thank you.
Okay, so I told you guys at the beginning we would end this discussion with whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever message you want to share. I want you each to, I don't think we've done this with two guests at the same time. Maybe we have. But I would love for you guys to take your time and talk about anything you want. I like to say up to a minute, but I don't want you to feel any pressure to wrap things up. I want you guys to express freely what you want to share to our community. It could be about anything. It could be your favorite recipe to cook. It could be way more important about an important message you want to share. It could be about a project you have coming up. Anything you guys want to talk about, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm sure everybody's heard, like, we lost Queen Bell Hooks earlier today, and if you are a young Black woman, a young woman of color, a young woman, period, you know, who is there to, you know, try and use art to speak, like, Bell Hooks has inspired you. So, you know, she's a great loss, but we just gained an amazing ancestor. So I just really wanted to leave with her words. She said, "It is essential to our struggle for self-determination that we speak of love. For love is the necessary foundation enabling us to survive the wars, the hardship, the sickness, and the dying with our spirits intact. It is love that allows us to survive whole."
That's deep.
She's so dope.
That's great. I love that. Melanna, you good? Or you want to go with that? Or is there something else you wanted to add?
No, I'm leaving it with Ancestor Bell.
Okay, cool. So how can people connect with you guys? How can they learn more about you? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, INDIEFEMME.com. You know, like I said, we're just, you know,
we're working to relaunch.
Yeah. But we're super responsive. We're on all those platforms, and yeah, you can holler at us.
Cool. So we have the website up here, and if you're listening to us, it is www.indiefemme.com. That is INDIEFEMME.com. And of course, Instagram is at INDIEFEMME_films, FILMS. Talking about films, I have to ask you guys real quick, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Ooh,
there's so many.
Okay, and you know what? Because I don't like when I'm asked that question too. So I'll let you say a couple, or you could say your favorite director, or you could give us both.
I'm gonna tell you, I love Paper Moon.
Okay.
I love The Matrix.
Of course, yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, so many. There's
too many.
Yeah, so there's Killer Sheep. Is probably one of my go-to. It's a film by Charles Burnett. Like, he made that film for like $10,000 in '77, and it's literally one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
Still.
And we would not have Do the Right Thing. We would not have Boys in the Hood. We would not have so many films without Killer Sheep. So definitely check that out. That man does not get enough love for his art. But of course, like, Do the Right Thing, of course, Kramer versus Kramer, just anything with really a good story. Like, just tell me a story, and don't be lazy about it.
Okay. And then I know I said this last week. You said Matrix, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I had heard, and I don't know if this is right. Maybe this was just a dream. Was the director of Matrix a black female?
Okay, no.
Is that okay? Wait, real quick. Is that a rumor? Is that
no? I think you're thinking of Sophia Stewart. And she wasn't the director or involved in the film at all. It was her idea that she submitted.
It's original story.
Quite some time ago. We interviewed her. We talked to her for like 3.5 hours, and the facts line up. So she broke everything down. We asked her, "What is the Matrix?" A womb.
Oh wow!
Now, ask the sisters what a matrix is. They can't really answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting, as I know the new Matrix coming. I actually haven't seen the Matrix. I know I'm probably one of very few.
You shouldn't admit that, but go ahead.
Well, I did. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm not claiming to be a director or a writer or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I love it because every time you watch it, you're going to learn something new.
Yes.
It's going to dawn on you, like, oh.
Okay, so the it's the story that originated from a black female voice.
Yes.
Right.
Love that. Okay.
I didn't say it was stolen. Yeah, it was stolen from.
Okay.
I didn't get the credit.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I'm hoping is getting better, because that's happened since the beginning, voices, and even in my industry, in the music industry,
right,
credit being taken, not getting credit. And I'm hoping, whether that's social media, whether that's the Times, people can now stand up to injustices like that. And again, people like you guys taking it in your own hands and doing your own thing is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, and we definitely as artists have to learn how to protect ourselves better. A lot of times we don't really know the business, we just know the art. And you cannot have one without the other. So I think, unfortunately, a lot of people got in, with these big dreams without really understanding, like, there are sharks and you have to protect yourself.
I know I did. You don't know what you don't know. So someone has to really guide you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I look at us and in the industry of music, and we grew up watching it, and we still,
right.
Stepped in it a couple of times. So it's like, it's show business and it's music business. And, the business part gets in the way of a lot of stuff. So you do have to know you do have to know the business aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Gianni and Melanna, from INDIEFEMME, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank you for doing what you're doing. You're going to make it a lot easier for those coming after us. I want to suggest to everyone to make sure you go to www.indiefemme.com. And if you don't really use websites, yes, some of our younger kids don't really go on websites. They just go on Instagram or Facebook. Really, Instagram handle is @INDIEFEMME, and that's FEMME. So there's 2 M's _films. Go check out INDIEFEMME. Go check out what these ladies are doing, and let's support them. Taj, is there anything else you want to say? That's it?
No.
Nothing? Okay.
No.
Ladies, thank you guys for being on. To our viewers, we want to thank everyone who super chatted. I think I missed you, Caleb. I apologize, my man. But I just want to thank all of you guys for supporting the Power of Love show, for supporting Taj and TJ and the DD Jackson Foundation, and for supporting IndieFemme. We will see you guys next Wednesday. Take care and please be safe, everyone.